I know that I'm not alone in this entire past year of feeling so frustrated by fellow Americans, frankly, pushing back on fact-based evidence. What we've seen over the course of an entire year is an entire segment of the American population deny what is overwhelming visual evidence and firsthand accounts that tell us exactly how close we came to losing our democracy. So if we came so close, how come it's taken such sweet time for it feels like every actor who is tasked with holding people accountable to do that, hold the culprits accountable? What we know now is that there has been a crisis of trust in this country, and it continues to erode amongst people who are, for example, in my demographic, millennials. Those between the ages of 18 and 34 are the fastest losing trust in democracy and don't believe it's necessary for American life. I was raised up to have a really healthy dose of skepticism about what government is and how it plays into my life. Never once did I think that I would see fellow Americans at this point in time justify political violence and think that it's all right to overthrow the American government. So where we are right now is in a moment where we have to do something because it took us so much to get to January 6, 2021. Now the task is to get fellow Americans to just see that it doesn't have to happen to them for them to care, for them to see that it's going to take a multi-pronged approach to get us out of here, because it feels like we're in the really dark moment where nobody's doing anything and one person cannot save us. There's not a hero, no cavalry's coming. In fact, what we have to do is see our part as individuals and push back on the illogical narratives and call this for what this is: traitors sitting in Congress. I am 100% convinced that there are still traitors sitting in Congress.
How, Rina? Is it through conversation? Is it through experiences? Is it calling up your local representatives? I mean, aside from a congressional investigation, how do you confront that head on? Because you bring up the subject that I want to talk about next, which is the evolution of violence and the justification of political violence now in this country that the former president is making as we speak and will likely be making on the anniversary of January 6th, right? That Republicans, 40%, believe violence against the government is something that is justified now. That is a very worrying prospect.
We do it with our dollars. We do it with teaching. We're terrible students of history in this country. If there's one thing I've seen in the past 10 years, is that this is a moment where Americans should just question who their neighbors are. They need to reconnect with their neighbors. We don't see our neighbors for who they are, which are fellow Americans who all play a part into how we create a more just and prosperous society for each one of us. When we start to other people, this is exactly how we continue to go down the road to fascism. Now, I'm saying this as a person who made their career in the entire Republican Party, refused to back down. I refused to leave the Republican Party. They left me. I didn't leave them. They tried to edge me out in 2016. I pushed back. We talk about personal experiences. We talk about history, and we look at people in the eye and we say, is this the country you want for our kids? Do you want your kid to go in the street and attack somebody because they're another color, another religion, and frankly, just may have different views about policies and values? That is un-American, and we need to start calling it out. But the dollars portion we can do today by refusing to support anybody that supports people who continue to promote the big lie.